Hello and welcome back to the series on learning to scythe. This is the fourth video in the series. We previously covered buying a scythe, setting it up and honing the blade. Today we'll be looking at learning to mow. We'll be starting by going through some exercises to get into the best mowing technique. Before we start, I always forget about this, so I don't practice what I preach, but do some stretches to make it so you're less likely to pull muscles beforehand. Just warming up those muscles, and some jogging on the spot will help to relieve some of that tension. You're less likely to pull something later, but also will mean that you'll mow in a relaxed fashion, which makes it easier to cut grass and less of the hacking which we're trying to avoid. So we'll start this exercise by going in an area which is already cut. We want to first think about our posture. We want our legs about shoulder width apart, or maybe a bit wider. I have a rather wide stance. I like to be able to get a nice wide swathe when mowing. We'll have the scythe in front of us with the handles pointing towards us. And we'll be thinking about our back. We want a straight back as we're standing. Or at least we want to only be bending at our hips and not a bent back. That would be bad posture, which would cause damage to your back. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going from the right to the left with that blade always on the floor. But as we do that, we're also going to be twisting our hips. So we want to twist from about 3 o'clock over to around 10 o'clock. So 3 o'clock over to 10 o'clock. When I'm at 3 o'clock, my weight is on my right foot. As I then draw across to the 10 o'clock, my weight is on the left foot. So I'm shifting my weight from my right to my left. Ideally, I'm trying to stay about level as I'm going across. And that means that my blade is going to be level with me, always on the floor. The area that you want on the floor is around here, from somewhere from the centre to about a third of the way across from the snaff. So you're looking at this sort of region that you want on the floor. Definitely on your 4-stroke anyway. On the backstroke, it doesn't matter so much. For your hands, I have a rather free motion, so as you're rotating, you notice your hands are coming up. And that is sort of the motion that you want as you're going round. Now some people have a bit of a tighter motion, so they will put their left arm as if they were holding a newspaper or your hat in your arm as you're going through. That can work quite well. I prefer a bit more of a freer motion because it means I can get a wider swathe as I'm mowing. So you're going from your right to the left, straight back, and you are leaning into the sides, shifting your weight all the way across as you're going, making sure the blade is on the floor when you're going for the 4-stroke and when you're going for the backstroke. Why on the backstroke? This will identify rocks as you hit it with the rib of the blade before they hit your cutting edge and damage it. It also props up the grass if it's flopped over and allows you to then slice through it easier. Finally, it means that you keep the blade on the floor, which means it's less likely for you to then lift the blade up and start a hacking motion. If you keep it on the floor the whole time, you're not going to start that hacking motion. Hacking is when you come down, hit the grass and then come up. Now it's done quite a lot by beginners because it moves the blade faster. So when your blade is not properly sharpened or you're not doing the correct technique, then you can still get through some grass. However, it's more likely to damage your blade and you don't get such a good cut in total. You're only cutting a small bit of grass in the middle and not the wide swathe that you could be doing otherwise. So then you just have to come back over it. If you start finding that with the rotatory motion, the blade starts coming up off the floor and you find it hard to keep it on, just add a little bit of pressure down with your right hand to just keep it on the floor. So we're now going to be looking at the movement. So in our normal stance, we have our feet about level. We might have our right foot slightly further forward, which helps us to move the grass round behind us as we're cutting. If you're going into areas where you've not got a cut area on your left, so you've not got somewhere to move the grass into, you may put your right foot quite a bit further forward, which then allows you to rotate and put the grass behind you as you're moving forward. When we're actually moving, we're only going to be moving through a very little bit every time, so maybe a couple of inches after every strike of the grass. So we'll move our right foot about 2 inches forward, and then our left foot 2 inches forward, right foot 2 inches forward, left foot. So we're doing this small waddle. So our blade is going to go from right to the left, and as it's at the left, we move our right foot 2 inches forward. The blade goes back, and our left foot goes 2 inches forward. Blade right, blade back and left. Blade right, blade back and left. And this is important to make sure when you're doing this exercise, you've got a straight back. Because what's really tempting is if you see the grass in front of you, forget to move enough, and then you start bending to meet instead. Don't bend to meet it, just let the grass, the blade cut what it meets as you've got a straight back. If someone is bending when meeting it, it may be because they have a different scything technique. There are some scything techniques where you can bend and get quite large distances when doing it, but they will be making sure they've got a straight back the whole time. They'll just be bending at the hip. Think about all those techniques which we've done before. So straight back, going from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock, rotating the hips for weight on the right to shifting to the weight on the left, moving forward just a couple of inches every stroke. There's a lot to think about there, and over time it will go into muscle memory. So don't worry if it's difficult at the start, that will go into muscle memory. Oh yes, and whilst you're doing that, make sure your blade is on the floor the whole time. That's a very important one. Excellent, so now you've done this exercise. Now go on to grass which has not been mown, and we can start mowing properly. What's best is to start in an area which is mown just before the non-mown grass starts. So we'll start moving in the mown grass and not cutting anything, and waddle forward slowly until we meet the grass which has not been mown, and then we'll slowly enter into it. As you enter in, remember not to bend forward and start taking more grass. You're just going to be doing the waddle forward to slowly get onto that new grass that you're going to be cutting. Doing this technique will mean that you don't take too much at a time. Always think about having a nice smooth motion and being relaxed when doing it. It's also worth remembering now, because we've been mowing for some time, even if it's on a already mown area, we've probably been going through a bit of grass here. So it's probably good just to check that our blade is sharp. So we'll give it a quick hone first. Now that the blade's sharp, we can start slowly going to an area where it's not yet been cut. Things that make it easy is if you're starting in a time where it's the mowing season. So in the northern hemisphere, we're talking about June time. At least in Britain, it's June time is the best time for mowing. In the southern hemisphere, then I suppose it'd be 6 months later. If you encounter falling grass from heavy rain or wind, or from the age of the grass over time, it tends to flop later on in the year, then it's easiest to manage by approaching it from behind, where it's flopping away from you. This allows you to get the side blade in underneath the grass where you're at the bottom of those stalks. You'll find that it's easier cutting at the start, and then the blade will start becoming dull and harder to cut. So you want to resharpen it every 2 to 5 minutes. So it's very often that you are sharpening the blade. After some time, you'll find you're sharpening the blade every minute or every 30 seconds to keep it sharp. At this point, then you know that it's time to peen your blade again. Peening your blade is where you hit it with a hammer to flatten the edge, making it so that it's got a longer, thin edge. So when you sharpen it, the sharpness will last for longer. If you enjoyed this content, then click the like button so I know to make similar videos in future. And you can also see my whole playlist on learning to scythe. Alternatively, see my playlist on historical ways to manage the land and historical videos such as whether scythe is good as a weapon. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.